Hello and welcome to Mysteries of Selindor, episode 96. I am your friendly neighborhood bard, Seti, here with a recap for episode 95. And it is that I met my brother Labra, who was like kind of aloof. He's a thief and he's going to move some diamonds for me. And we'll see how that goes. At dinner, I offered to dream visit Bropsy's missing wife to like get them back in touch, and Bropsy was really upset about that and said she'd have to do some serious thinking. So that was another thing that happened. And Oren went with Bropsy privately to disclose what's going on with his runes, and it sounded like really heavy shit that I wish he would share with me because I want to be involved in his life as well. And anyway, we found out that Egelman dreams of weird bone dancing, trombone playing skeleton people, so that was fun too. And Cleary and Mitnir went shopping. I got the cool ring out of it. Mitnir got some dragon bone thing, and while that was happening, Oren and I went to see Black and Delvers, ironed out our contract with them. That was fun. We're going to get passive income, so that'll be cool. And Grim's doing stuff down in he needs to go down to the Undercity for mushrooms that grow on corpses. So he talked to the kids about that because they used to collect corpses from down there. And learned something about Feldspar Falls, the creepy guy that they used to work for. And Oren worked on his board. I found boxbreaker practice, and I'm currently spying on somebody that is spying on the practice. And that's where we're at.
And that's exactly where we'll pick up. So, Seti, as you are looking out in front of you and seeing this mass of people all cheering and hooting and hollering and just making a fun time out of this box breaker challenge that has been placed in the lower levels of the halls of Erudition, you see this figure out of the corner of your eye, somehow, again, noticing that nobody around him or them, again, there are no features that you are able to discern, seems to notice them at all. There's no instance in which somebody's like, oh, let me go sit down on your lap because I don't see you in that chair. It's just they seem to avoid the area naturally. And as you continue to try to look at them, you don't quite get a sense of the ability to truly grasp their full features or anything really about them. Your eyes can't truly focus on them.
Seti's going to like just like everybody else, like, you know, leaning against the wall, arms crossed, like watching the practice that's happening, watching the boxes and whoever's doing. And she's going to kind of like sort of, you know, pull out her glasses and put her glasses on like she's trying to get a better look, but be watching out of the corner of her eye what she sees, what else she
Okay, so
sees in the room.
when you put on your glasses, it's the first time you've really done it, I think, in a crowded place.
I had
And
them on in the Nexus, but yes.
Oh, you did have them on in the Nexus. Oh boy, I don't remember you telling me you put them on. Otherwise, I would have described some wild shit.
It was the very first time we went there. I had my glasses on, but
well, I missed an opportunity there. My apologies, because you're just in some wild ass shit.
Yeah.
Looking around this entire zone, you see just like a myriad of different things. I mean, you see like fish flying through the sky. Or when I say sky, I mean just the area around you. You see that all the individuals, their cloaks basically removed. You see instead like a couple of them are just like a couple kobolds standing on top of each other's, like sitting on each other's shoulders. You see that some of these people are in fact fish. You're not sure what of this is real and what of it isn't, because like seemingly in front of you, you see a human attempting to pick a lock, and it for whatever reason looks like a small tree with a bunch of different elves sitting and baking cookies, and they're each offering cookies and shoveling them into the lock. So you're not sure what's exactly going on with these glasses. However, when you attempt to look at the individual sitting in the corner, which is what I assume you're putting these on to begin with, go ahead and make me a perception check. Did Grandma just close the front door?
I don't know.
Well,
That
that
could
might
be
be
my
your
mom
mom.
coming in.
That's probably what it
I
is.
did tell her not to go in the garage, but I do have the cat, so at least that's safe. Okay, so perception check. I moved my windows. I swapped my monitor, so now I don't know where anything is. All right. Ooh, not bad. That's a 30.
30. So as you try to do it, you find yourself suddenly able to look at this individual. And you see that there's like some shadows flicking around them that might contain, so the same way you look at everybody else, there's kind of a shadow around them. You can sort of see the version of them that exists in the material plane. But when you look through these glasses and you look at him, what you see sitting there is a wolf.
Mm.
It's instead of having like fur like a normal wolf, it seems to have these strange long elongated tendrils coming off of it. The mass of its body isn't fur like at all, or it isn't resembling that of any natural animal. Instead, it looks like a sort of black living darkness that sort of has what looks like small dying stars
That's
falling
our
in towards
guy.
the center. In its chest, you see what appears to be a black hole swallowing the stars that drift too close to the center of it. So that's what you see sitting there. And as you look at it, make me a stealth check.
Yeah, I want to be doing this kind of like out of the corner of my eye, like as I'm like
Yeah,
maybe,
make a stealth check, and they're going to make their insight check to see if they notice that you are looking at them.
That's a 29.
29. Ooh, I gotta use this die.
Oh, I don't have any
If I
music
can
on.
get it out.
I need something
Yeah, I
creepy for
notice
this.
it's kind of like
It's very quiet.
very quiet.
I gotta find something creepy. Hang on.
All right, hold up. Let me move some of my stuff around real quick. I was apparently not actually prepared to play yet.
Look, this day got away from us. We thought, oh, an
Yeah.
early game, that'll be great. We'll be done nice and, but then we didn't have time to prepare.
Okay, all right, what did you roll for?
29.
Okay, they don't seem to react to your viewing them, but just barely.
Oh, iTunes is frozen. That's I'm like, we got music. No, we don't. All right. So they do seem to have some kind of reaction, but
No, they don't seem
they
to notice that you are looking at them. They seem to be staring through. And when I say wolf, I do mean sort of humanoid, also in the way that its limbs are stretched. It's still sitting in its position, but it seems like a sitting upright, sort of like spectral wolf.
like a wolf-like humanoid.
Yeah.
And you said they have tendrils. Like, are they like tendrils?
They're like
coming
rising
off of them?
up. Yeah, coming off of them, just sort of like stretching out and sort of wicking in the air as if underwater. They're coming off of the head more than anywhere else, but you can see them also coming off of the shoulders, the tips of the elbow, anywhere where there's like a joint, and they seem to be rising off in a way that sort of just flares off of them.
Yeah, definitely our guy. So I would really just like to see what they do and where they go after this practice is concluded. But I also don't want to draw attention to myself. So what do I have? I mean, now that I've seen them, I might be able to like scry on them, for example. I'm wondering if I have any kind of like tracking spells or like concealment spells. I'm also wondering if I should just come out guns blazing and like advertise myself.
That decision is entirely up to you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit.
If you need more time to make your decision, we can move on to one of our other players and see what they're up to.
I think
Because
I'm gonna try to
as you
follow
stay there waiting, they are still watching individuals go up and make fools of themselves. You see a couple of them are still trying, but whatever this box is, nobody has been yet to crack or break it.
Huh. And so, like, what kind of? I mean, why not? Like, are they trying all three approaches, or is it a lockpicking
There's a
box? Is
myriad
it a...
of. It seems to be a combination because you've been watching long enough to know this. You've got a pretty good analysis on what's going on. There is some sort of hand puzzle in which individuals will walk up and the box seems to be something like a Rubik's cube, but instead of being different colors, it's literally just different shapes within the shifting um, block. So it's sort of like trying to find the correct combination and orientation of this sort of malleable puzzle. Below that, there seems to be some sort of arcane influence trap and a lock. Nobody has made it to the lock yet, simply because the arcane trap has been uncrackable to any of them.
Having watched people fuck with this, do I have a sense that I might be able to do it? Like, are these people just noobs?
Make an insight check for me.
Oh, that's good. That's a 24.
You get the sense, and especially with your glasses on, do see a few individuals like you see somebody who looks more or less normal standing there, but then when they were standing there before, but when you look at them now, you do see like a full-on demon standing there with like twisted flesh, like big huge wings, horns rising out. You see individuals that are glowing with like just bright light just shining throughout their entire body. It's almost blinding to look at them. And a couple of these individuals do stand out, and none of them have actually approached. They're all standing like you to the sidelines, sort of viewing, and you get the sense that there's probably a chance that they are waiting and biding their time so that they can make a move on this when there are less spectators or when other spectators. And with your insight check, you notice some of them are even eyeing you as one that they just marking you as somebody who is also doing the same thing, are waiting and biding their time.
Yeah, that is kind of the impressions that he wants to give off, that she is both watching the competition and also like, I don't want an audience.
So you're not sure if anybody that's truly skilled is probably just still holding off.
But what is my sense about my ability to crack this? I mean, from what I've seen.
You haven't seen anybody make it to the...
I'm specifically asking about the arcane lock.
The arcane
lock.
No,
my headset just died. It's plugged in! Why did it die? I can't hear anything. Oh no. We always have some kind of technical difficulty.
Are you talking about the puzzle itself?
Okay, I can hear now.
You talking about the puzzle itself, or are you talking about specifically the arcane trap?
You said there's like a puzzle, and then there's like an arcane lock, and that's where people are failing to get through to the actual lock, right?
Nobody has completed the puzzle.
Okay, well, what is my sense that I might be able to?
That's a good question. I guess what I would like you to do is go ahead and make me an Arcana check to see how you feel about what you've been witnessing up to this point.
22.
22. You are seeing similarities in the movements of those that are making it to a certain amount of time, and you have seen that it's almost like completing a maze as they go, but you're not completing one maze, you're completing the maze and where it can attach on all possible routes. It's sort of like just trying to complete almost like a water flow puzzle. And so you think you sort of understand the inner workings of how it works because you've seen sort of a line begin to appear here or there as people are turning and shifting it. However, there are times when individuals have locked into the center with one of those pipelines, and the second they do, they are buffeted back. So whatever it is not just completing it, it is completing it in such a way that you don't connect any of them until the last second. Making it, even though there are multiple ways to resolve the exterior, once you get to the interior, if solved in the wrong order, it will blast you back. So it is a very difficult puzzle. And even with time to tinker with it, do you think that this particular puzzle would probably take you a solid 5 minutes to solve at least?
Yeah, I'd hate to go up there and make a fool of myself. So,
and that's assuming you don't mess up and get blown backwards.
Right. That would be the worst case scenario, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Man. I'm gonna keep biding my time. I'm gonna just keep blending in with the people that are like, we're too good to, we don't want this, we're waiting. And if the wolf person leaves, then I will attempt to follow them surreptitiously.
Sure.
Otherwise, I'm gonna stay and watch until things clear out a little bit, or something happens, like somebody actually gets through it.
Sure. I will say that as the day continues to move on, what time I don't remember our timeline exactly for what time you came here during this day. I believe
It would
it's
have
Neryl's
been,
day.
yeah, it would have been afternoon. Normally, I take notes about what time of day it was when we quit playing, but I did not do that last time.
Yeah, so I would say as it's dwindling in the afternoon, the crowd begins to thin. And you would say that somewhere maybe the next hour of waiting, you would be maybe into a thin enough position where the individuals that were really going to give it a try were the only people left.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you do not see that individual in the corner move. They do not shift in their position. Even looking through the glasses, they don't appear to. Honestly, they're almost completely immobile except for the tendrils that seem to be sort of flicking in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to take your time and wait for that to happen, we can move on to somebody else and come back to you.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I'm just gonna wait.
So, making a shift as you take your time observing this and trying to figure out what to do. I believe that Bropsy was doing alchemy today throughout the whole day. Did we get rolls for that for today? I don't know if you're actively there participating, Akita.
I do not believe we did that yet.
Is there anything else you wanted to do today other than the alchemy?
No, unless I'm needed for something, no.
Okay. Then can you go ahead and make me your intelligence check with proficiency?
23.
23. Okay. So you actually make 12 hours of progress today.
Cool.
It's during your 8-hour workday. You learn effectively, or very efficiently, especially since a lot of the same techniques are used within an herbalism kit and a poisoner's kit that are also used in the alchemy kit. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to breeze through this section of just compounding materials, using a mortar and pestle, how to properly distill something over varying temperatures throughout the process. So a lot of that is information you already had. It's just a little bit more advanced than what you're used to. So you do make some very good progress today. Oren, to my knowledge, you were working. Did you already make your rolls for today for the work you were doing on your board?
Let me check. I don't think so. Because my percentage hasn't gone up, so...
Okay, cool. Go ahead, unless there's anything else that you want to do today instead, then you can go ahead and make your work roll.
Okay.
And I would say today would be dexterity based, because I think you're doing a lot of the fine tuning and the exterior work of the board, because you're nearing the completion at this point, right?
Yep, pretty close.
So a lot of this is like imprinting, scroll work, decor, even getting those last little bits to really make something that not only seems like it could function, but maybe looks nice as well. Just like, because you guys have stepped onto the board once or twice and maybe not given it a full test ride, but you've been giving it enough that you think that you can put in like Mach 1 like version of this board would be about ready for a test run.
The dex check with proficiency then?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Well, it's not as good as my int one. It's a 15.
15? Okay, so you do manage to get, I'm going to say you make 10% progress towards completing it.
Okay. So, I can probably finish it tomorrow.
It's very, very close to being completed. On the last little segment, while you were sitting there, you were trying to imprint something, and you were using what appeared to be like almost close, similarly to like a fine laser. I was just like a specific device that sends out just enough heat in such a very focused amount that you're trying to give some edging and some nice work, like towards the side of the board where the top faces up, so that it looked nice and sort of had like a mark that represented you on it as well. But unfortunately, the laser was a little bit too strong, and it went through and actually fried a small section of the circuit that you had to then pull back off and redo. So you felt like you were so close to finishing the board, and then you set yourself back just enough that you only made 10% progress for the day.
No worries.
So while you're working on that for the largest portion of the day, we're going to head over deep down underground into the Crystal Undercity, the Feldspar Hills. Hills? Falls. It's like Hills isn't right. The Feldspar Falls, where Brogy and Grim, hand in hand, follow after what appears to be a sort of yellow crystalline dragonborn individual in tattered robes, and just like a clack, 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 like funking sound as he walks down this dark corridor deep into the mountain. These sort of like flecky gray, striated, and oftentimes sort of like shimmering walls. As you come down on both sides, you seem to be spiraling down into this Feldspar Falls cliffside in such a strange way. As you like hit towards like the front side, you see a waterfall actually like dripping down into the area and flooding and submerging the bottom section. And you see as he sort of approaches it, he begins to turn off to the side, and there's a door leading down into more and deeper staircases. But as he takes his hand, you see that rather than being like a normal lock or anything in that sense, he begins to work his hands over it, and you hear like the sound of what appears to be like a sort of diffusing magical essence around the door's border. He says, "You can't be too careful, can you?"
I mean, no.
Sorry, let me get down to my Crystal Undercity, just so I have my information pulled up for him. Oh, nope, that's the time you went down there. Give me my actual notes on the location. You failed me. You failed me, computer. Control F, you monster. Can we get something a little bit more morose, babe?
Sure. How about the same song but spooky?
Yes, please.
That was the whimsical version.
Cool. So, did he introduce himself properly to you?
I don't remember.
Well,
It kind of ended as soon as he showed up, so.
Yeah, he begins leading you down inside. He says, "So, what is it that you are specifically perusing? The corpses, I believe, was your request."
Yes.
You see as the door like sort of pushes over, just like squeaks open as he makes his way inside. Just this old wooden door, completely unassuming, but you can see the edging work as you walk through, even without making an Arcana check, just how intricate and potentially deadly the trap laid across this archway actually was.
Yeah, no, we were looking for corpses that grow mushrooms. There's a certain type of fungus we are interested in studying.
The corpses that grow mushrooms, yes, we have quite a bit of those lying around. Follow me inside, and we'll take a look. As you step through, you like just feel something like almost wash over you, like a chill, as you step into this location. And you look around this space. The ground of this sort of very dark, almost black, jet blackish material, but still having the striations of the plagioclase feldspar running through it. And you can see that sort of carved out of the stone are several benches and tables working their way up. And the open front of this area faces out into a waterfall, and you can see the light pouring through, and that's the only source of light, save for the Bunsen burners and several alchemical bits and flames under the cauldrons that you see all over the place in this clearly necromancer's workshop. You see bookshelves on the far walls that are just made out of like a really undecorative wood. But you do see that there are several books that you don't recognize even the writing of. As he leads you inside, you see that there are a couple of what appears to be small rock-like imps that are just moving about, and they seem to be made out of a sort of similar color material to the rest of the area, but they have a little dim yellowish, sort of putrid yellow glow coming from inside them. And as they walk about, they begin like moving things and shifting things about. They're no more than about 12 inches tall, and they work really hard to like drag bodies across the floor, where you can see sometimes there's like a blood smear just like old like mud mixed blood just like pouring across the floor, and you see another one coming behind just like with a oversized mop just sort of like sweeping it up as they go. He says, "Pardon the mess. Go ahead and find yourself a place to sit." Gestures, and there's like a small pile of like old books.
Gonna sit in a pile of old books.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna sit on a pile of old books.
So Brogy, just like hops up onto a little pile. He like knocks a couple over so that they're like the right height to like be closer to your height. He sits down and he's like, "So, we're looking for something that has been infested, or something that has been devoured, something that is being. What sort of look are we looking for here? Are we looking to purchase the mushrooms or the body in whole?"
Well, if I purchase the body, I might be able to grow my own.
Fair enough. Takes a lot of work, though, to procure a body, not to mention the fact the value of ones that have been influenced and infected by such a thing might raise its value even more. But I do have a few here that have come under a particularly interesting number of spore infestations. Is there anything particular we're looking for yes?
Well, carnivorous fungus for
Carnivorous
sure.
fungus.
That would be able to eat blood and tissue.
Blood, tissue. So truly a carnivorous fungi.
Right. It doesn't have to have like teeth or anything, but gonna
Oh,
just
of course.
be the unorganic matter.
Well, we do have biting blood spore, wicked black cap devourers. Those are the two I find to be the most potent in their digestion and consumption of human flesh.
Hmm. Okay. Well, let's take a look at whatever you've got.
Well, the carnivorous blood spores we have here. And he brings you over to the corpse, and you can see that the mushroom is actually melded into the flesh, and the bottom half of like the fleshy bulb of the mushroom is in fact like melded in such a way where it's almost indistinguishable flesh as it transitions. But it becomes more stocky and mushroom like as it gets up the stalk that's growing off. Once it hits the top, you see there is this sort of different than when you expected, not like a full cap to it. Instead, it seems to be almost like a folded, like flower like. It almost looks like a hyacinth, since you've seen a flower like that recently, how it sort of folds its way up. But it's just spores layering on top of each other, like little breathing apparatus lungs coming from within the different gaps. But you can see that it almost has what looks like a vein running through the core of it, and throughout all of the different little tufts of what would have been petals, you see capillaries that are actually pulsing and beating slightly with blood coming through it. You see, not only do they devour the blood, but they create their own internal circulatory system. And as you see, and he says, and he like just pokes the face, and you see the eyes open. Says, they keep the body functioning for a while far after death.
Oh, there you go. Let's see.
And then he moves over to the other side, and he's like, over here we have black cap devourers. And as you see, and you see what appears to be a corpse that has been eaten through. like almost completely devoured by this thing. You can see that the mangled stalk seems to be like twisting, almost like it's screaming. Like it has like the shape of like a screaming body, just writhing in pain as it rises up. A truly fascinating fungus mimics the dying cries of the dead. As it rises up, you see that there is like this very like umbrella-like cap that is sort of like pulsating at the top. It almost like moving like it's completely alive. There's like almost sort of like these sharp dripping little almost thorns on the bottom gills. Says this one eats straight down to the essence, devours everything. And
so this one is more parasitic. The other is more symbiotic.
well, in a sense, I would say that the mind, if one were to be infested by a God, I already forgot the name of it. The blood cap one though. Biting blood cap, blood spore, biting blood spore. Jesus
There you
Christ.
go. You've got it.
The biting blood spore. If someone were to really be truly affected by it, they like taking necrotized flesh first. Before the blood has been completely taken, they have the highest chance to grow in specific environments. Spreading from corpse to corpse. They don't. If one were to be infested as a living sample, I believe it would probably take over their mind and eradicate anything within it that was of any meaningful intelligence, and basically be acting on instinct more than anything else.
Okay, great. Let's see. Well, I mean, how much would it take to get them both?
Oh, one corpse of each. That would give you a fair spore base to create any. Due to the rarity and the dangers involved, and someone were to find out that I allowed such a spore to spread to upper lands, which is I assume you come from.
I mean, does it matter if I am an aspirant? Does that help at all?
Oh,
We just call
an
it aspirant, isn't
aspirant.
it?
Actually, yes. If the Nexus is willing to foot the bill, I suppose you need only get approval, and I can stop my business with you here and seek recompense from them at a later time.
Well, I'm not so much concerned about that as in whether or not it would ameliorate the need for,
Oh,
secrecy,
secrecy? Well, if
And
you're
I
an
guess,
aspirant, I suppose there's someone to sweep up the mess, so we could not go unobcharged. I suppose you're correct in that manner. But if you're going to pay out of pocket yourself, I would say 500 gold per corpse.
oh, that's easy. Let me see. How
Keep
much
it
do I actually have?
easy, keep it simple. It'll give me enough to cover my losses. They are good experimental material, but I'm not currently in need.
I guess I should make a check I'll make an insight check just in case. A 21.
21. Sorry, I forgot I wasn't him for a second. It's like, cool. So for 21, wait, what were you rolling for? Were you
Just trying to see if he's like,
counting your money, or are you just making sure that he's not robbing you?
Yeah, just make sure he's not robbing.
Okay, yeah. No, he seems like he's being pretty fair with you. Like, I mean, he might be upcharging you, but what do you care about tiny?
I don't care. Yeah, I just make, I mean, Grim's not so worried. And I don't have the persuasion to improve the price anyway. So,
yeah.
So, yeah, no, I only have platinum. I hope that's okay.
Oh, yes, of course. Platinum is fine. Everything is
I'm only
fine.
allowed to, I can't touch the others,
Fair enough. Well,
They
be
slip
careful.
right through my hand. It's crazy.
As I was saying, the Black Cap Devourer, nasty one, particularly. Careful when handling it. If the spore gets on you, it devours your soul first. So,
fun.
Be careful with that. The biting blood cap, however, it's as long as you're prepared to amputate an arm in case you get fully infected, you should be fine.
Yes, insofar I seem to be immune to the mind-controlling effects of different spores.
It's true. I can see you have quite the collection on your body. I have eyed them, some of which
They're
I
very
have
nice.
harvested and recognized myself. But grown
Oh,
on
yeah.
a person. Interesting.
Well, these are different. I get these from, a lady who's.
A lady.
Yes.
Well, perhaps you could introduce me sometime.
She might kill you. I don't know. It seems to like
She
Grim, but I
could
don't.
certainly try.
Well, you are inorganic, so that might make it a little bit more difficult for her to infect you. You might not be infectable. But I don't know if she has. She might have other ways. I don't know. For all I know, she's got the big ass sword too. But
Just kind of like huffs, and you can see like just like a little bit of just like energy just like puffs out of his mouth. He says,
It's fine. It's fine. You don't want to introduce me to her? It's fine.
I mean, I don't know that I
In the
have.
meanwhile, 500 gold per corpse. Keep things simple. 1,000 gold
Right.
total. Would you be wanting these in a bag, or would you like a wheelbarrow?
Is it possible to have them delivered?
I suppose I could do that, depending on
Perhaps
where I'm delivering
in
them to.
and then I guess we may as well do it discreetly and in a sealed environment, so that we don't want anybody on the street getting like consumed or anything. Might not be so good.
They are quite dangerous spores, and were you not an aspirant, I would have charged you quite a large amount. So it is best that you use your, best judgment when
No,
handling them.
yes, no, I think just if we could perhaps keep them sealed and concealed, for transport, that might be best.
Well, if you don't mind looking a bit macabre, we could always put them in a lead-lined casket.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
have a
fine.
few laying around. They are not light, but transporting them wouldn't be too unheard of.
Yeah, that's fine. How much are those?
Oh, just for the casket, if you're transporting itself, 10 gold apiece. So, add an extra platinum for each one, and you're set.
Okay, great. I'm gonna count out 102 platinum. Just toss them over.
And he takes him and says, "It's a pleasure doing business with you. Would you like to pick your corpse? I have 3 of the biting bloodspore, and I have only 2 corpses that are infested with the black cap. It's up to you if there's a particular one you like, or if there's a particular species of individual that you are looking for any effects upon."
I mean, it doesn't need to be a specific species. It would ideally be any species. Now I'll examine the corpses.
yes, go
What
ahead and
should I
make me a
use?
medicine check.
Yeah. 25.
25. So you find one of the ones that is infected with the black cap devourer appears to at one point, based on what is left of its flesh and the way that it seems to move, you see similarities to creatures that don't have a fixed form, specifically changelings. So whatever this particular creature was, you believe that at one point it either had the ability to change its shape and did so often, or it was in fact a changeling, which would be cover a variety of bases to the way that flesh is reactive.
Right. So we'll definitely take him then.
Okay, so you take that one from the Black Cap Devourer, and then on the biting blood spores, you see that there are a variety of individuals, but they're all human. They're all 3 like just mostly basic humanoid, and you can't really differentiate too much between them. You can tell that one of them is definitely a half elf of some kind. There's a body that you're not sure what it is, but it has a bit of residual energy of extraplanar energy still within it. And then the other one seems to be mostly mundane.
I'm gonna make a nature check to see if I can recognize any little bonus spores on either of them.
Sure, if you're looking for spore specificity.
Not like specific spores, but just if there's any that have
That was a
them.
really good cluster, like sample size of the spore rather than the individual that they were taken
Well,
from.
or if it has other types of spore on it too.
Ooh,
Like
bonus
if
spores.
yeah,
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and make me a nature check.
23.
23. You find one that doesn't have any necessarily bonus spores, but does seem to have a couple of the different mushrooms, a couple of these biting blood spores that have a little bit of a different hue to them.
Hmm.
They have like slightly more bluish hue to them. I'm
Well,
not sure if that means that they are just unoxygenated or if there's something else to them, but they do appear to be like a similar spore, but they have like a sort of like dark purpley blue color to them as opposed to the red color the others have.
they don't. Wait, are they? Is this in addition to red ones on them?
Yes,
Okay, so it has both of those kinds of spores.
correct.
It's like I don't want to have to buy another body.
No. There's just this one. This one seems to have sort of a couple of the spores have like a different hue to them, but it's the same spore
Okay.
more or less.
Well, then we're definitely getting that guy too.
Okay, so he's, as you said, oh, wonderful choices. I see what you did there. Ah, good. We'll have them backed up for you. Take a few minutes to get. And he just sort of gestures and he says, "Come on, boys. We got a package to pack." So you see all these like little rocky boys with their little glows, just sort of like picking things up, trying to drag them up. You see them sort of hover off the ground and sort of with it, they sort of like raise it up, and they're just like these little rocks sort of hovering and carrying these corpses, and just like dropping them unceremoniously into these caskets. The other ones are like pulling off of the walls. And it takes a few minutes, but they will get you set up and you begin your trek back home. Is there anything else you would like to ask this individual that you have met before heading back out?
I don't know. I guess I'd be like, hey, oh, by the way, do you know my kids?
Your kids.
Yes.
Well, I know of kids.
There was a forget what it's called. There's a lava child. And I forget I forget what Kobe is. Then
I
there's a
seem
like a
to
little
recall there was mention lava children are rare, but I do remember I had one low in my echelon of employ.
yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, they're nice. They're nice kids. You know.
I have had no complaints of their work thus far, and they have been fairly compensated.
Great. Okay. Well, have a good day.
Oh, well, a good day to you too, and good luck with your experiments.
Yes. You ready, Brogy?
Broggy is totally fine. Broggy has done nothing wrong while he's been here.
Okay, great. Good to know. So I guess
All
we'll
right.
just drag them off.
Okay. So as you guys begin to head out, you hit the upper road in Brogy. You can tell like he's definitely carrying some shit that he has stolen from this guy's like place. Like
That's okay.
he has stolen something. You are not sure what, but he is like you
That's
can see his
Brogy.
under his like little cloak. You can see it's just kind of.
I don't even know what class Brogy is.
Broggy is Broggy.
It's just a Brogy. Level, who knows, Brogy.
Level 1000 Broggy.
It's maximum Brogy.
Maximum Broggy.
So yeah, so I guess we'll head back with our little coffins.
Yeah. So how do you want to go about heading back to the surface to the academy where you have your workshop? How do you want to accomplish that? What path would you like to take?
Let's see. What's the most direct path?
You came here from the teleportation like hub of the southern
Right.
side of the Crystal Undercity, which would be the closest place you know of to transport back somewhere. The question is, where would you like to transfer to? I mean, supposedly you could just transfer straight back into Logic's Landing, where the receiving teleportation portals are. However, you would be walking out with a bunch of coffins in the middle of the most public place within the school. So,
I mean,
if
I
it's
can't be the only person messing around with necromancy in the school, right?
hard to say. You haven't seen a
I
whole lot
guess.
of coffins going back and forth.
Hey, Brogy, are you good at like maybe you know how to like disguise things at all?
Disguise. Brogy can disguise all kinds of things. Are you ready for this? Watch Brogy disguise.
And Brogy
No, I
just
just
Brogy just puts some mud on his face.
He's like, ah, nah, nah, Brogy is mud now.
good job, Brogy. Okay, well that's not particularly useful.
You know what? Actually, I could look real quick and see some stuff. Just give me a second. I wasn't prepared for you to ask Brogan to do anything useful.
No, that's okay. Let's see. I'm just trying to see if I have any spells or anything that I could use that. I don't think
Whoops.
Druidcraft would help with any of this. But... see. Do. I don't think my invisibility makes everything I carry. Well, I guess it does everything I carry. But I'd have to be carrying new coffins to make them invisible with me.
Yeah, so that's its natural things. It doesn't have anything that's naturally great for this.
He's like,
So how
Brogy
much?
can weave a bit of illusion. Brogy can make it look a little bit different.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Or worst case scenario, Grim will pick them up and I'll disappear. It's fine.
Brogy has focused on spores and the alchemy and the biology.
Yes, that's fine, Brogy. That's okay. We'll get there.
All
If
right.
anybody fusses, we'll flash our aspirant badge. It's fine.
Okay, so your plan is to just go to Logic's Landing from where you're going, from
Yeah.
the hub of the other southern side of the city.
It's not like Grim's sneaky.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'm going to say that when you appear with these things and begin trekking up to Feywild's teachings, heading for the elevators, people see you like trying to like ram them up off of this little cart, like ram them up into the elevator so that they fit. The cart will absolutely not. So you begin like just ramming stuff into this elevator, and it's unceremonious. Like you and Brogy are just like trying to force these coffins in. You draw a lot of attention from passerbys that are just like, stuffing dead people into an elevator. I'm like,
The convenient time to be able to push and drag 1,000 pounds. Huh?
Yeah. As you like just sitting there, just like dragging it in. It's like it's mostly a fitting thing. Like it fits okay, but it's just like it's kind of like the way they're bulky. So you're able to like get them in, and then you just ride up this elevator, and you get some looks, but you're able to get them where they're going and begin your experiments for the day. So, the question is, how would you like to proceed with your experiments? Because this is such a particular thing that you're doing, I would say you could spend the majority of the rest of your day working on deciphering the usefulness of these mushrooms or their qualities, which you've been fairly well informed of at this point from the individual that you met down in the Feldspar Keep. So it's up to you. The Feld.
Yeah.
You could also try just latching them onto new corpses and seeing how they spread, which could take who knows how many days.
Mm-hmm.
You get
I wonder if I could accelerate that process too. I think there's other spells that help plants grow. I think there's one called plant growth, but I don't know if that would work the same way.
I mean,
technically, funguses aren't plants, though.
There are different ways you could try going about it, and I'm willing to accept any of them. If you would like, I would say that you spend quite a bit of time trying to decide how to move forward, and we can move on to somebody else and give you a second to think about how you would like to spend the rest of your day.
Yeah, for sure. At least he's gonna. I mean, I need to keep them in like kind of like a contained environment, so if we can. So we'll do that first. We'll get them kind of set up in their little area where they're not going to kill everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
Brogy helps you, and so does the little Wednesday Adam looking girl. They sort of like begin setting up a little quarantine zone away from the
and
other
then I'm
spores. They even
gonna
have to harvest a few logs and like move them.
and so then we'll also be I'll also take some samples, like the little spore, um, the spores that just come off of mushrooms, right? The reproductive spores,
Mhm.
just to see if I can germinate those and try and.
Are you attempting to? What are you using to attempt to germinate them on?
Well, first the spores have to. We do this. Initially, when you're harvesting mushroom spores, they need to like almost germinate first before they can be. Let me see. I don't know enough about growing much.
Like, are you going to make like a condensed serum that is just
Yeah,
like
like yeah,
a
and then
concoction
like
for?
you use that.
Cool. Go ahead and make me an alchemy roll, which is going to be
Yeah,
intelligence proficiency.
efficiency.
To attempt to harvest some spore cluster samples and get them into a serum for injection and growth.
Okay. That is an 18.
18. So you're able to complete one this evening while you're doing this. Which one would you like to work on first?
Probably the fighting blood cap.
Okay, so biting blood cap, you get what appears to be like this sort of blood red vial by the time you're done. It just looks like blood in a vial, but you can see like that you have reached like the spores have remained intact when you look like under the several like super lenses of glass that are just like bent and bent and bent. It's like a microscope, but it's just like a super big like kaleidoscope basically
Mhm.
that they pulled out and just like lens on lens, and it's super huge. But you can see that the spores are intact.
Great. So, I mean, I don't know how much time we're doing for this, but um, Grim will also be. He'll try and grow those spores on different things, right? So, like, can I grow them on their own? Do I have to use a corpse? Can I put it on a live goat and see what happens?
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
I will say that you can set up a sample size if you would like. Just spend some time while we're working with the next thing that's happening. Like I think we're gonna go back to SETI here. Spend some time during that time deciding what you would like to put it on, and we'll have like just a sample size of that, and you can make a list and see how they grow. Because
Yeah.
if you tell me specifically what they are and what the conditions are, I can tell you what happens. So
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, I'll just give you a list.
Sounds good.
Where's the?
Okay. In the meantime, SETI, most of the individuals have cleared out that were watching and making their time. A few of the ones that you could see that were actual just watchers do get up and go. You can see that they have actually taken notes a few times. You see a few of them pull out like a little notepad and take some notes and then disappear again. And then you also see that there comes a time when enough people have like lost the novelty of caring. When you see an individual come up, just sort of look around, looks at you all, sort of nods, and then takes his back to you and begins weaving a couple of different spells. You can make me an Arcana check to see what those spells might be.
Oh, well, that's an 11.
You're not familiar.
Okay. Can I, however, detect thoughts?
You can certainly try.
So I'm not going
I
to
will be right back.
I'm not going to probe into anyone's mind. I don't want to be detected.
Okay.
But, I will.
So just surface thoughts.
Yeah, I will try to get surface thoughts, and I can kind of flit between people. So we'll start with the person that's casting those spells.
Person who's casting that spells, you hear language going through their head more than anything else as they are unveiling and unraveling formula as they're completely concentrated and focused on the spell. Whatever it is that they're doing, it is ritually cast. So they're taking about 10 minutes working on it.
Okay, I will leave them to that and kind of flit over to the next person that's still waiting and hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, so there's among those that remain, there's like one that's bright and one that's clearly demonic. You could look at either one of those. Which one would you like to peer into?
Let's start with the demonic person.
The demonic one looks out, and like his surface thoughts are simply like simple, pedestrian. Like he seems very judgy of what this person is doing, but he doesn't think like without delving deeper, you don't get a deeper thought of what he's thinking.
Right.
He just seems to be like pshaw.
And then the bright
about this whole
person.
thing. The bright person, staring at it, looking interestedly. They're like, archaic formula, simple. Identification, layered, interesting. Spell deconstruction. And they're looking and they're taking notes, and they're like, oh, I guess you could dispel it as well.
Like that hadn't occurred to them before. Okay. And I want to slide over to the wolf person.
Okay. So you slide over to the wolf person, and you hear.
Okay. Their thoughts are a wordless scream. Gotcha.
Make a stealth check when you do that as well.
Okay. How many people are left at this point, including the one person?
6 people.
That's a 22.
22. So you see there's a moment where the eyes kind of flit about for a second, and that you can feel almost for a second. You look away because you know that his eyes dart towards you for a second.
That he's gonna
This
look
wolf.
just kind of confused, like really focusing, like, oh.
Like, yeah, like you're focused, and you're able to play it off, but they seem to have noticed somebody entered their mind. Even if just for that split second.
Okay.
To get that scream. And they began looking around, almost as if they're like pensively checking to see if anybody reacted in any way.
Okay.
And since he doesn't see any, he just sort of looks around for just a moment more. And then he begins to shift his weight. The head begins to like twist a little bit, move,
I'm just completely focused on what's happening with the box.
and then it gets up and begins moving down the hallway.
Oh shit. All right. I had other plans, but that doesn't work. Ooh. How mean do I want to be here? Here's what I'm gonna do. How many people are left in the room?
I said 6, but 5 now that he's leaving.
I'm going to just look kind of like look bored and like tired and like stretch, and I'm just gonna be like, it's hopeless. We should just leave. And on the word leave, cast mass suggestion to everyone that's left in the room and see who falls for it and like just leaves. So that way,
this is a charm effect.
this is a charm effect.
Okay. And what is the DC?
It is. Wisdom save DC is my thing. It's a 20 DC.
20 DC. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So the again, you're not looking at anybody. As far as I'm aware, you're still looking at them through the lenses. So you see 3 of the people get up and walk away, including the glowing one.
I'm gonna kind of slink out alongside the glowing one and just be like, kind of try to make a little bit of small talk, like, man, I don't know why anybody could have cracked that. Like, what the, you think it's really going to be that hard during the competition?
Again, you're looking at them and they're just bright light. You can't even see any features. And like, I think this is more of a test of a different nature. From what I've gleaned, I think somebody is looking for recruitment.
that might be fair. That might be
This
fair
is-
because, yeah.
This is a particular challenge, and I think there are many eyes on it. I think if you were to crack this box, you might actually be able to make your way into the Prime Thought.
Wow. See, I just kept coming up empty. I'm like looking at that thing like, I have no idea how to do that. I mean, who has all of those skills all at once? I mean, you need a team for that kind of stuff.
Well,
Or
I
maybe-
believe that is the initial design, but one person being able to break it all by themselves would be such an asset before Box Breaker begins. Well, we know how Lord Primus likes to stand on top.
As we're talking, heading down the hallway, do I clock the wolf person?
Make a perception check.
The idea was to have a crowd leave, so I wouldn't be the only one following them. That is a 20 or 31.
31. You do, in fact, see the spectral wolf tail flitting, and it basically completely melded in the darkness. You don't even see black wisps coming around it, even with the lights moving for it. Whatever it is, whatever shape, that shell you would normally see on the exterior of a person, is not there. All you see is the little bit of darkness in which he is melding into the walls almost. You can't even see the frame, but you see those little bits of stars, almost coalescent, like just sort of sparkles in the air, falling in towards this black hole. That you still see.
Okay. Are they heading in a direction that it would be like natural to also be heading that direction?
Considering you are in the lowest point of the halls of erudition, and there are several staircases that, moving on mechanical like whirling gears, seem to like shift around, almost like Harry Potter-esque in the way that they move about this sort of like copper into iron structure. You can see tubes and hydraulics moving different buildings to different locations as the halls of erudition generally begin to close up for the night. So there are only a few pathways leading up to different locations. A lot of them are leading out and connecting to one central stairwell that leads out. However, that is not where he is going.
Ooh. Where's he going?
Make me an just a perception check, just to see like if you can keep an eye out for it.
Okay, 30.
So looking at the way that things flow down here, it would almost be as if he is attempting to slip under the crease where these buildings collide. And so there's these machinations going on the distance. People don't go near those because you'll just be crushed. But he seems like he's heading towards a slip where a couple of buildings are about to collide. And as he does, you watch as he slips into it, and you see the sparkle sort of disappear deeper into the building's mechanical works.
Okay. I'm going to continue just kind of like making small talk with this person until I can shake them. Is there like maybe a private nook somewhere that I like could kind of disappear into an alleyway, or like a dark hallway, or a door crane?
I mean, it would be easy enough for you to say, as you enter it, where a couple of the hallways are still not quite closed for the evening, you could easily slip away saying, "Oh, I want to go see what classes are still open," or something to that effect.
Yeah, something like that. It'll just be like, good luck out there. That's maybe I'll see you in the.
Well, perhaps I'll see you in the commissary, since it appears we belong to the same school. Looking at like the robe that you're wearing whenever you're within this area, the golden robes.
Maybe we'll wind up on a team together.
Perhaps. I look forward to seeing what you're worth.
Likewise. I'm Seti, by the way.
I am Celeste.
Nice to meet you. And I'm gonna head my own way. Just noting her name. Is their name? Whatever.
Celeste. Definitely female. Okay. Based on the voice that I don't have.
All right.
Looking forward to Seti's lesbian arc.
Ooh, that could be fun. Yeah. unfortunately, I've only seen them as a bright ball of light because I didn't take my glasses off, so I have no idea what Celeste looks like. But all right, so I slip away. I'm going to polymorph myself into what's something that flies but is quiet, like not a fly because they're buzzy.
It depends on what you mean by quiet.
Yeah, something that flies but doesn't buzz and is small.
Butterflies, moths.
Too showy, too big. Maybe just a gnat? Can I do that? Just like a itty bitty bug.
You can be a gnat,
Or a mosquito.
but there's a chance that you only have a small amount of time to do this before you would just naturally die.
Because gnats only live like 24 hours though.
Also, you're gonna be as smart as a gnat once you become a gnat.
Ooh, that's
Sure
fair.
will.
Shit. I forgot that.
And you'll
about
just
that.
be like, I'm a gnat. What do I do?
You're just gonna be like,
Fun
Poop?
fact: they actually
Poop?
live 1 to 2 weeks.
ooh.
Good. All right. Well, fuck it. I said it, so it's happening. I polymorph into a gnat, and I go. I just like I'm like trying to hold in my mind, see what's down that little crack. Where the
See what's
person-
down that little crack. All right, here's
where
what
that
I would
person
like
went.
for you to do. I would like you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh boy, this is the arc where Seti gets lost and wakes up in a pile of poop. Hang on, let me mark off the spell. It's what level is polymorph? 5th? 4th. I also did a 6th level for mass suggestion, and I did detect thoughts, which is 2nd. Yeah, 2nd. Okay. Intelligence saving throw. You said?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, of course. That's my lowest roll of the day with a 7.
With a 7. You are not sure from this point where you have gone. We will find out when it occurs to you as a gnat to end your own polymorph, or if you get crushed or squashed or die of natural causes.
Okay.
Because until then, you are a gnat and you are not sure where you are going.
Cool.
Well, the spell lasts an hour, right? So
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you
true.
have
It's an hour.
You have an hour.
That's right. I forgot it had a time limit. Thank God for that time limit, because I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Is the full hour you're going to just be natting around.
Sure.
So we'll come back to you when I decide where you are.
Okay.
Roll for Venus flytraps.
No, I'm rolling a
no!
D100.
Well, that flytrap's gonna get crushed when I turn back into Seti.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to picture at this time, Oren tries to call Seti, and she answers, but it's a gnat, and I'm just like, what the heck?
Hey man, you got any
Okay.
plants?
All right. So, Dropsy, you finished your alchemy classes for the day, as the Hall of Erudition are closing up. I need you to make me a perception check.
Whoop. 20.
With a 20, you happen to notice as you are heading out, Seti talking with a glowing figure. I will say, to be honest with you, I will say that you see her actually walking with what appears to be an individual with long blonde hair and sort of, they're not elf ears, but they're not quite human. They have a small point to them, and the what appears to be on them is some just very ornate, like scrolled gold work. That's not like a singular piercing, but seems to like cuff around the ear itself. And then hanging for those, you see another little chain that comes around and is coming into her nose on both sides. You see that her long blonde hair is braided into like this very intricate series of ringlets that have little bits of gold, just like twisted into them, like actual gold. And you've seen individuals before that give you the same feeling as Orin, but this is probably the only one that you've ever seen that gives you a more intense feeling of celestial light than him. The only individual that you've met that has given you this same level of like wow is when you have met the individual that is within your inner realm. For obvious reasons, you get significantly more celestial light from them.
Mm-hmm.
But whoever this is, they are very, very touched by celestial light.
But is she hot?
Is she hot? Say yes.
I'm going to roll a D100 for that as well.
Say yes.
Roll for hotness.
She's an 87.
She's fucking
She's
hot.
almost a 9. She's 8.7 on the
rounding to
the
a 9
tiny
out of
scale,
10.
yeah.
She's hot.
That is on the cosmic scale of hotness. So she is an 8.7 on the cosmic scale of hotness.
Okay.
Do I want
All
to?
right, here we go. Ready?
Bobby's like, forget
Roxy?
about my wife.
No,
forget
no,
about
no,
my
no,
Tanuki.
no. I didn't know. That's not.
Do you want to leave it up to my D100
I'm
roll for
married!
Dropsy's
Like,
hotness
this is a
level?
woman I would ruin my marriage for.
No, stop that.
Yeah, so yeah, she hot.
Okay. Said he doesn't know she's wearing glasses. It's just a bright ball of light.
No, but you see Seti wearing her glasses, which you recognize. You've seen her silver
she knows.
spectacles. And then you see that while she's doing this, she's like, yep, and she's like, oh, I gotta go check out this class. And then she turns down the alleyway, and you sort of lose her behind some buildings because they're still moving through the central area, and you're across on the far balcony in one of the other classrooms. And then you completely lose sight of her. But you do still see this celestial individual making their way up through the halls of Erudition and leaving. What would you like to do?
I mean, can I tell this that he's busy?
Seti does seem to be talking with her, and then before she leaves, who knows what happens. She does seem like she's excitedly like saw something and like had to get there, and then she was moving pretty quick.
For my own sake, I'm going to roll an insight check to tell if Brapsy should be socially aware enough. 14.
14?
Keep my distance.
She seems excited about something and seems like she's really interested in it. She definitely seems like a man on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it's up to you what you would like to do from here.
They will rope me in if she wants to rope me in. She knows where to find me.
Okay. So do you just head back up and like head to your room, or do you head to the dinner that everyone's supposed to be attending?
I will do that.
Okay. So you head off to dinner. Orin, you finish your work for the day, covered in sweat, burnt fingers, and you see Mitnir heading back out from the same halls of nascency that you have been working in, but in a different section altogether, and you did not sign him in today. And you see him walk by you and just go and like wink at you while he waves his little clawed finger up in the air. And he just kind of keeps heading, very proud and smug, like not even remotely able to hide that he's like, I've got a secret.
I mean, Orin's just like, okay.
Okay, so the two of you end up more or less meeting up at a certain point as you begin heading towards the banquet hall for your dinner.
Yeah, so once we sort of get close to each other, I just kind of look at him and go, meat? And he probably says, meat. And we go get meat.
Yeah. Meat. So as you guys begin to head towards meat, let me take another second to look through this real quick. And while I do,
I also want to make a quick call to the Black and Delvers on my seal.
Sure. While you're making your way up there, go ahead and make a call on your seal.
And I just want to, call Black and Delvers.
You go to call Black and Delvers. It's like it's not like they've got a seal for the business. But
I guess I would
you can
have to say the name of the person, which is I have it written down.
Okay.
Well, I was dealing with a dwarf though. I wasn't dealing with the bugbear, right? So
the dwarf is the one that is the
owner
of the whole place.
Where the hell did I write that down? I had to put it on seal contacts.
Oh my god, do you guys have a contacts list of
I do
in your seal? That's so good. You need to have like a fucking phone book where you just like got a list, like a fucking planner.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I wrote his name down.
It's a woman.
Sorry,
and yeah, I'm just kidding. Twilight Town. I'll look it up real quick because I know what it is, but just to double check that I'm not wrong for once, because I would feel really bad if it wasn't Fjorda, which is who it is.
I'm going to write that down now, because apparently I forgot to move.
So you call Fjorda, and she says, "Oh, hello. Right then. So, what can I do for you?"
Yes, I was just wondering if you could procure for me like 1 or 2 pounds of magisteel.
Ooh. Magisteel is one of the most rare metals and the most highly controlled within the Nexus itself. Pretty much everything's bought up by either Nexus or Primus.
Oh.
So I can do what I can to try to sniff it out and see if there are any shipments where we can procure a few pounds. But it's going to cost you a fair bit. I can take it off of your earnings if you want.
Well, you know what? Since I have access to the Nexus, I might be able to get it myself.
Well, fair enough then. Good luck on that, and maybe you'll be the one procuring Magisteel when we need it.
Maybe. I'll let you know how it goes.
Well, have a wonderful night. Goodbye, dear.
You too. Bye. Well, now I know where most of the Magisteel goes.
So as you guys make your way to dinner, Grim, are you headed for dinner, or are you going to be working on your samples instead?
Oh, he'll definitely be working. He doesn't need to eat because he's got his good berries.
So as you, so as you all arrive and sit down for dinner, and you realize that 2 of your party are missing, we will go ahead and take our break there. As Cleary says,
oh, is this it then?
Oh. And we'll be back in just a few minutes while Cleary uncomfortably sits and waits for Seti to arrive.
Back in 5. We're here.
Hey guys, we are back. So, before we get to dinner, Grim, which one of these would you like to start with? Would you like to just go straight to goat, or in goat? I mean, you could set up a couple of ones, but I don't think you're going to be able to tonight make any progress in sort of trying to cross-pollinate or cross-breed or anything like that.
Yeah, well, and I think it takes a while to germinate things anyway.
Yeah.
Like for the sample for the spores to grow into something that's usable. Yeah, I mean the goat thing would probably be.
Just get the
if
2.
I could do it with one sample, if I can do part of it on a goat, like inject it into a goat, and then the other one take the same goat and take a blood sample and saturate the soil with that and put the rest there.
You could do that for the one that you've completed the serum for.
Yeah.
So that should be enough for you to get set up and started tonight. Go ahead and make me a proficiency intelligence check running that. So
Need
alchemy.
more intelligence. What's that? A 13.
13. It's easy enough to get these things and implant them. You're able to spread the spore. You're gonna do it topically or subdermally?
Oh, it's definitely going to be. So I don't know that it needs to be like inside because I don't want it to eat him from the inside out. But I think if I were to do it subdermally, but like very shallow.
Okay. Yeah. So you're able to put like not even a tenth of a cc of spore underneath the skin in. I'm gonna say like a row down the back of one of your goats.
Yeah.
And then maybe like different amounts depending on varying with like a little. You shave its back. You do the thing. You put it across the back, and then you put like a couple of marks next to each one, for like there's like a little shallow tattoo mark. For like, oh, this is what this one is, this one is, this one. So I'm gonna say you'll be able to put 5 on there, with what you've got, and your control may be a little bit skewed, because you only rolled, what was it, like a 13?
Yeah, it was low.
So you don't get like a perfect sample size, you wouldn't say, but it's enough to get started on. Also, spreading the blood and putting the spores directly on it, easy enough to do.
Yeah.
So that is set up, and that does take you most of the night to get it ready and prepared. And you reach a normal sleep time hour, and think maybe it's a good time to rest before starting tomorrow on the Black Cap.
Yeah.
All right. So that is your evening. Meanwhile, Mitnir, Orin, and Bropsy sit down in the familiar rented space with which you were all meant to meet every evening to have dinner. And Cleary sits down, says, "Is this it? Is no one else coming?"
Haven't heard from the others today.
I see. Well, with that, hopefully everyone is all right. In the meantime, how is the progress going with you three?
It's going great for me. I'm in a lot of progress.
Yes, same. I did have a question for you, though, Clary. This is in regards to other projects I will be working on. Are you able to procure any magisteel?
I could put in a request with the council. Is there a particular amount that you need?
Just 1 or 2 pounds.
Should be doable. They're probably going to want a report for what purpose you're using it for. If it's personal, or if it's part of the mission, or if it's what have you. Just for there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes through there. That the minutia falls on people like me. Never the members of the council who hate minutia, but the people who work within the embassies do need everything to be well accounted for.
It's for personal use.
Personal use. I can make a request and put the information in, and I can get back to you as soon as we hear that, what the response will be.
All right. I plan on making a magical item out of it that could potentially be somewhat powerful, so I need a really good magical material.
Certainly, it is without a doubt the best magically conducted material that we have access to. There are a few alloy, non-alloy existent materials that are truly alien to the places we have access to. Deep, far away materials that, would be very risky for us to procure.
Yeah, up to this point, I've only really worked with gold, platinum, and mithril, so...
Yes, well, everything has its place. Adamantium or calcum, magisteel, definitely. But if you're using it for magic conductivity, I would say there is no better thing than magisteel. Good. Well, I'll put in the request and we'll see what happens. Mitnir, you're set.
we did our shopping already. Bropsy, anything new or important that you need resources for in today's update?
Do I need any resources for the potions thing?
You're probably fine.
No, I'm fine. I'm just, going to classes and stuff.
Very well. If I'm not mistaken, I do know that they are going to start several of the schools doing their testing tomorrow for specific events. They're going to start the recruiting process in this week and 2 weeks prior. So, make what progress we can.
Bropsy, at some point, we're going to have to visit Azuris and get some measurements. Because I got the mithril to make her armor.
You can come over for that anytime.
Yep. As long as we're not busy with the competition stuff.
Right. Well, in the meantime, if anybody hears from Seti or from Grim, please let me know that they're all right.
I saw Seti a little while ago.
Oh, you did? Did she say why she's not coming to our meeting?
I don't think she noticed me. She was talking to someone.
Right. Okay. Well, perhaps she has a lead, and she really needs to follow it. I'm sure she'll contact us soon.
Mm-hmm.
You can always call Grim on the seal if you needed to get in touch with him.
That's true. Well, I'm not going to rush anybody. It's just one dinner. I'll check in a bit later if it seems like anybody is, missing for any reason. Otherwise, we'll reconvene in the morning for a nice breakfast.
Sounds good.
Well, goodbye. Leftovers are all yours. And he just walks straight out. So
one of those. He's a friend of one of our friends, so it's awkward.
You guys traveled with him just as long as Seti did.
Yep, but we're not
Yes,
as close
but none
with
of
him.
us kissed him or held hands with him.
Well, that's on you.
So, as you back into yourself, Seti, you hear all around you. And you look and you see gears turning and twisting behind you. You're not sure where you came from or where you even could have come from.
Oh.
But you do look ahead of you and you see what appears to be a black door in the side of the wall. There is no distinguishing marks. It is just a simple slate of black where you can see there is a crease that is door-shaped, no handles, nothing. But it seems to be made out of a slightly different material than the rest of what appears to be the back, nearly exterior walls of the Tower of Selindor.
So I'm
You're in the in-between place.
I have a question.
the
Before you
tower, though.
started there, I was going to say that Bropsy wanted to use the ring to try to check in on Seti after dinner. So I don't know where this would
You
be in the
attempt to do
timeline of
that?
things.
If you attempt to do that after dinner, there will be no response.
Okay.
There is no contact you can make with Seti. She is too far out of range.
Okay.
All right. So really, really quietly, I want to pull out my seal and have it show me like a map, like where I am, if it can.
You pull out it shows that there's not a very exact mapping system built into these things.
Okay.
It shows that you are in the Tower of Selindor. You are in
All
Selindor
right.
Academy.
Okay. Well, I knew that. All right. I'm going to quickly pull up the hood of my cloak and turn invisible.
Okay, so you turn invisible.
And I want to peer around. I mean, does this door appear to be locked? Is there a...
As I said, there's no handle, there's no
There's
distinguishing
no-
marks. You can simply see that it is a slightly different material. Your passive perception is so high, I don't make you look for these things.
Uh-huh.
You simply see that it is a darker material than the rest of the walls surrounding it. It appears to be black as opposed to the normal sort of like. I guess the exterior walls are a little bit darker than even the normal like sort of like copper and brass iron works of this sort of like steampunk style gear work that makes up the interior of the Tower of Selindor. But you see that this wall it almost has like a dark greenish hue, to the point where it just looks like sort of almost like silver that's been really tarnished.
Okay.
So it has
And-
that kind of like black sheen, but you can still tell it's metallic.
So am I in like you said the exterior wall. So do I see like a way out of like where I'm at now, like back into familiar air?
That's what I was saying is you see this door and it's about 20 feet away from where you are currently, well, where you were hovering around as a little gnat.
Uh-huh.
But going back and wondering where you came from, you honestly can't tell how you could have even gotten here.
I don't see any like sunlight or something up above.
No,
like...
there's gears and there are pipes and there's like all this inner working and you have no idea how you could have gotten to where you are.
Cool.
Maybe if you were Orin, you would have a better idea of how these things work and interlock together and how the gears work. But it basically, to you, it just looks like a wall of like death and nonsense.
Okay. I'm gonna try the ring just really, really quietly. Once, like, if I'm fairly sure that like there's nobody around, I don't hear anything or see anything, then I just want to be like, is anybody there? Can anybody hear me?
What is the range in your particular ring?
Ooh.
It should say on it.
Ooh, let's find out. I forgot they were different. Platinum band of communication, 910 feet.
910 feet. So you try to send this message out, and you get kind of like a bit of a garbled resonance that comes back into your own mind. But you hear like your own voice like re-echoing into yourself, like you're getting feedback on your own microphone.
Okay. I'm going to...
Which is different than what normally happens when you're out of range of somebody.
Yeah. Ooh. Do I want to risk? I think I have to. I think the responsible thing to do is to send a message, and I will reach out to Cleary. And I will just say...
Can you cast a spell and stay invisible? It's non-aggressive, so I guess it's fine, right?
Yeah, and this is a cloak of invisibility, so it's different than... I use it for 2 hours. After that, it ceases to function.
Word.
Okay, so I will attempt to contact Cleary, and I will just say, Tower, gears, liminal space, door. Not sure where I am or how to get out. Not sure how I got here. Investigating. Will contact soon if I can.
You don't get the if I can, but
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how many sets of 5 that was.
You could have just said lost instead of don't know where I am.
I'm sorry. I'm, you know.
you can only do so well.
Confused,
Yeah.
panicking. It's okay.
So you send out this message, and as you do, you get a garbled,
Yeah, I thought so.
echoey return back into your own head.
Cool.
On
All right.
our side of things, does Clary also have a ring?
No.
No.
No,
Okay,
Claire's
then
not.
Ropsy would have told Clary that
You
she
didn't-
can't get a hold of them whenever that happens in this
Oh.
timeline.
What is the range on your ring?
Mine?
Mhm.
It's also 910.
910 says that is a fairly large range. Do we know specifically where she was when you lost sight of her?
I'll tell him wherever it was that I saw her.
Let's go as low as we can. The holes of tradition never really truly close, but they do become quite collapsed. It's basically a drop. It's simply a single stairway that sort of cascades down to the bottom levels, heading into those who still work overnight in the halls of nascency. We can try getting closer and see if she's that low, but we can try again in the ring.
We can try it.
If you have time before you need rest. I don't have a ring,
I will not sleep until we know that she's okay.
Good. Well, I suppose we could just go as the two of us. We can move quite stealthily, I suppose.
We can let the others know what's going on, but
Oh, yes, if you want to do that. They shouldn't be far. We just separated, so.
yeah. I'll talk into the ring. Not Sim. Seti seems to be AWOL right now. We are not sure if she's just out of range of things or if she's in trouble, so we are going to investigate. We will keep you apprised if we learn anything, or you're welcome to join us if you want.
Oh, yes, tell them we'll be in the, heading down low in the halls of the audition.
I tell them that.
Okay.
I will respond and say, I will meet you down there.
Okay.
Graham, you would actually still be in range to hear this.
Well,
We probably should
I
have
mean, I would
checked in
listen
with
to
him
it,
as well.
but wouldn't be like, okay, I'm busy, leave me alone.
You
fair
may
enough.
not be able to respond. I think it was either you or Mitnir's ring that wasn't as good.
Wasn't as far.
Mine has a 9-10 range.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
probably
be Mitnir's.
Mitnir's
Well,
then.
Mitnir's
Yeah.
oblivious.
Mitnir's
Well,
already asleep.
At least we now also know that
Good
Grim is
fella.
okay, and he's not also missing.
Yeah, he's
No.
just yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Mitnir-
fair assumption with Grim. He's not missing. He's just playing with dead
It-
bodies.
it's a
Mitnir
fair assumption,
literally
but
got
when one
straight in an
person is
elevator and
AWOL,
gone.
you check in with the other people.
yeah.
I think it was one of the rings that was worse. It might have been one of the headbands. I don't remember now.
Yeah, I know something's worse.
Anyways, so as you guys,
I think my headband is worse.
Oh, that's probably what it was.
as you guys are down there, you begin moving and checking the ring periodically. So far, no response whatsoever.
Can I, after I send the message to Cleary and it kind of just fizzles out, I'm like, yeah, okay, that was expected. I want to. If I don't see any other options, I guess I will investigate the door.
Okay.
But I want to do it very carefully. I want to make sure, like, check for like magical wards or traps or locks or some, some kind of.
Do you still have your glasses on?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so wearing your glasses. So I'm going to say that you weren't wearing your glasses because you were transformed into a gnat and you didn't want them to fall off or an accident or anything like that during your transit or
Okay,
coming
fair.
back. But the second that you come back and you pull the glasses up and you put them back on and begin to look around, the second you pull them up, you see what appears to be tentacles moving out of the door through the cracks where it's sealed reaches. Like, just looks like mist is pouring from under the door, and like tentacles are like sort of like really thin, tendrily tentacles are just sort of like gripping around the exterior, and it's kind of pulsing at you.
So
It
that is a
looks bizarre.
bad door to open, it looks like. Shit.
Now, again, take what you see with these glasses with a grain of salt, but it is a
Sure,
spooky
yes.
looking door.
I mean, I have seen. I know that these are. I had them investigated or identified or whatever. They are fucked up true sight glasses. So it's not really true sight, but tentacles are always a bad sign. Mist, always bad sign. We just had tentacle mist. Bad stuff happen. Oh, but what else can I do? I mean, I'm still gonna check for wards and, you know, any kind of arcane nonsense, sigils.
Make me make an Arcana check.
It's a 15.
Yeah, so you have to pull the glasses back down and peer at it because they interfere with being able to see
Sure.
any. But you do see what appear to be some sigils of arcane nature around the edge of the recess of the door.
Any chance
You
I
are
can...
not able to determine what the nature of them is with your 15. But you do
Okay.
recognize them as arcane sigils.
Do they... Okay. I'm pretty sure comprehend languages doesn't work on sigils specifically.
No, because they are in the language of magic
Of
itself,
magic,
not
right.
in the language of conversation.
Right. Okay. I'm like, can I take a picture of it with my seal?
You do not have a camera function on your seal.
But I do have a notebook. Can I possibly like sketch some of these down real quick?
Sure. Go ahead and make me a performance check.
My bread and butter. That is a 22.
Yeah, you're able to sketch them down pretty accurately.
Okay, and then for lack of other ideas, I will bamf out my wings and fly around the like vertical space here to try to find some other exit or way out or clues or something.
Sure. Go ahead. As you begin to fly away, you feel something wash over you, like something cold.
Mhm.
And then suddenly you hear a noise down below, just, and you see light begins to pour out a little bit from the door. And an individual in a black cloak steps out and begins looking around.
I still have the invisibility cloak.
Mm-hmm. I still need you to make me a stealth check. But they make their roll to see you with disadvantage.
I would try to like, as soon as I hear noise or light or whatever, I would try to slip behind like one of the gears or columns, or I don't know what the space looks like, but that was a 30 for my roll.
Oh, thank God it was a 30 because they rolled a 28.
Oh boy.
With disadvantage. Damn.
Mm-hmm. So they look around and they look up, and all you see when you're looking down is just these burning circles under their hood.
I saw that with the other person too, right? Yeah.
It looks very eerily similar to the sort of black hole you saw, like the event horizon of the black hole you saw inside of the wolf earlier. Eerily similar. You do not see any white in the irises, but you do see like just sort of, and they seem to be looking in your general direction, and then they keep moving.
So I get the sense that this is a different person.
Are you wearing your spectacle? Are you wearing your spectacles right now?
I had to take them off to look at the sigils.
Yeah, so it's up to you if you would put them back on yet or not.
Yeah, I think I would have slid them back on.
This is in fact the same individual.
Oh, okay.
When you look at them, when you slip the glasses back on, you see that this wolf is looking around, and the eyes are in fact this sort of event horizon of just like, looks like just kind of like a little bead of fire, and the rest, the pupil and the pupil and the cornea itself are both completely black.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take off your glasses, they're the same eyes.
Okay.
But you can't see the face. It just looks like it's completely covered in some sort of like black bindings. And I look up and search around. And then you hear, I don't know who is out there. But if you want to visit, you need only reveal yourself. We are always looking for new recruits. Why don't you reveal yourself?
Can I do an insight check to see if I detect any, like...
Make an insight check.
Is this a trap? Ooh, that's a 14. Which is freaking far away.
Damn, he's got low deception.
Well, now I know he's lying because deception.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said it.
Yeah, I will not reveal
because he has a
myself.
+0 to his deception, which he shouldn't. I just didn't get his stats right. So until I get his stats right.
Fair enough. Okay, I will not reveal myself.
He looks around and you see another one step out from the door, black robe. Do you still have your glasses on when this happens?
Yes.
Then I will need a moment to determine who walks out the door and what you see. It's easier to just say a black cloak walks out. Actually, you see somebody sort of step out for a second and just sort of look, and you look at them and all you see is just twisted flesh, a hollow individual, sparkled and covered in stars that are shining all over their body. You see that the eyes are sunken and hollow looking. And they say, "What's there?" Almost childlike voice. It says, "Don't worry. It is nothing, Kirin. You can head back inside." It looks up, and as it does, you feel something wash over you for a second as the eyes of the sunken eyes sort of like turn up towards you. This sort of like gray, twisted flesh covered in all these hundreds of stars. And he goes, and it washes over you, and you feel sweat begin pouring down your back.
I was gonna say, as soon as he starts looking up, I want to duck back out of view again, so that like I'm not looking at them. Like,
yeah. So it's like almost like the heat death of the universe looked like it was about to turn on you for a second, and then you dip behind the corner, and you can feel like again sweat pouring down your back, and fear,
deep,
and then
quiet breaths.
Okay. Come inside. It's time for dinner. Of course, Kitty. Don't worry. It is safe out here. It is just a rat. And then he slips back inside, and the door closes.
Cool. I was thinking, I mean, from my vantage point up here, do I have any further sense of like, is there an exit? How do I get out?
Now that you've flown up as high as this, and now that it's gone, you feel like the sweat hitting you, like you feel like you're finally realized you weren't breathing, and you start breathing again, and you almost choke on the air. And you look around. Make me an investigation check.
Ooh, 18.
18. You begin looking and looking, and then suddenly you hear setting. Bropsy's voice comes through.
Where you?
Seti.
Shh! Quiet!
Do I
Quiet!
actually have her, or is this a...
Make an insight check.
24?
Ooh, nice.
Certainly sounds like SETI, and as far as you know, nobody else has a way to know that you communicate this way, and it's not voice coming through, it's in your mind, and it feels like her presence.
I more wanted to make sure that it was actually me talking and not somebody talking to Seti. That wasn't me, but...
It is in fact you. You hear SETI.
Okay. I will like do the little like back of the hand tap aggressively on Cleary, like, we got her. Seti,
Ask her where she is.
where are you? What do you see?
I don't know. I'm at the entrance to Inveruna, I think. There's gears and a black door. It's like between the tower. And I'll tell him like where I saw the person disappear earlier when I was talking to Celeste.
Ah, she's behind the wall. There forms a wall out of the several buildings, the different substructures. There are contained boxes that keep the classroom materials intact, but then the rest of the rooms are collapsed to the
Flopsy,
smallest
tell
amount
Cleary
possible.
to stop rambling and just tell me how to get out.
Just tell him to get out.
And he's like, right, fuck. I would need to know specifically where you are. Can you make out, by any chance, any of the code markers on the exterior wall?
Can I?
They're grid labeled.
Make an investigation check.
Also, like, for the technicality of how the rings work, she can hear him, right? But can I like scoop
No,
closer to
she
him?
cannot
Cannot.
hear him.
She
Yes.
cannot.
Oh,
Only
okay.
the
I have to
wearer
translate
can voice.
everything.
I mean,
What'd
you
you roll?
could give him the ring. I rolled a 20.
20? Natural 20 or 20?
Dirty 20.
20 to dirty 20. So you do seem to find, like, you look around for a bit, and then you notice, like, for the first time that some of these striations are, like, kind of like these sort of, like, markings within the wall have, like, a little etch in the corner where they meet. So you look at the bottom left corner, and it says G365.
Okay. G365.
365, 365, 365. That's lower. That's in the halls of nascency, or lower than that.
Okay, but do you know it? Do you know?
We could try to find it. I don't know if we have access.
Do you know anyone who does?
Or how I can just get out from inside.
Well, why don't we go there?
out now, because if you are as low as I think you might be, then you would probably die.
Let's go to where she last was,
okay,
and I can look
Seti.
around.
I need you to go as high as you possibly can and tell me when you reach G500 or above.
Okay. Yeah, I can keep flying. For as high as this place will take me.
It begins to get twisted. There's a way that the different mechanical arms and device and apparatus move in, and you can see like tubes and different sections where you even see like modron, like of different weird shapes. You're not even sure like if they're even modron anymore. Some of them have like 8 legs and like 7 faces, and they're moving and skittering across the inside of the walls. And they're just like climbing, and they're like repairing and sort of like zapping and tracing things. But as you begin to move around, I need you to go ahead and make me an acrobatics check to make it past these many strange creatures that exist within the walls of Selindor.
Okay. I want to note that my wings only work for a minute. So once we're nearing that time, I need to find something.
You are done then.
Okay. Because
You
that
would have,
conversation.
yeah, pretty much by the time the conversation was done,
Is
you
there
have been like
some?
latched on and barely. You were climbing now. There
Okay.
are arms and things that you can climb, and like it's not like a sheer wall.
Okay. Are there any like landing areas where I can stand and have space to work, or is it just climbing?
Make me a survival check.
Oh boy.
This
Really
would be
trying to
navigation.
vary it up on me, so I'm not so good at that. That's a 12.
12. You do manage to find an area where you can get a pretty decent footing, and it doesn't feel like you're going to fall. It's not much. It's it's not even a platform. It's just an area
Okay.
where there's just a sheet that seems to be like a casing to a particular arm that seems to be thicker, and it gives you about a 2-foot wide landing.
Okay.
That then slides off almost immediately after the joint you're standing on.
I can't do it. I can keep climbing. I can also Misty Step to another platform within Misty Step's range. Up to 30 feet.
So
I
you
see more.
Meanwhile, I assume we're heading down as far as we can go.
Yeah, you guys are going down. So as you guys hit the top section of where the halls, because you've never like taken this direction before. Usually you take an elevator that runs straight down to the floor, like the section of the tower you need to go to. So you actually hit like the stairs at the bottom, and you see that there's a box still sitting there. The box that Seti had been working on is still
I
sitting
do
there.
want to try it if I get out of here with enough time left.
And you can see as you approach, it is open.
Oh no! Who didn't leave the room with me?
There are 2 people that did not leave the room with you. One of them was the demonic-looking one.
Uh-huh.
And the other one, you can't quite remember. They didn't seem particularly to stand out.
It's always the quiet ones.
But you do remember that 2 stayed behind. You guys make it down to this landing, and you see that this open box there. And then you see Cleary go, and he begins tapping on the floor. And he says, "Come on, you stupid robots. Up! Wake up!" And you hear, and you see like a little cube comes out and says, "What do you want?" Cube. It's Cubit. Cubit. Can you, by any chance, let us down into the halls of Nascency at this hour? Not taking the proper channels, are we? Make a persuasion check. Perhaps with advantage. Because the 2 of you were asking.
Oh.
I'm there too.
What?
What? Popsy! No!
What happened?
She got a 3.
What?
Her total is 3 with advantage.
Sorry, but it's too late. You'll have to go through the proper channels. He says, the elevators do not go down to this level at this level at night. Anybody who's in the halls of Nascency is working through the night. I need down there. He says, sorry, no can do, and boop, pops back onto the floor. Says,
No.
fuck.
I wonder
Just
if
tapping on it. Please come back. Please come back.
You think maybe my fracture can gain us access?
That's entirely up to how you would like to use your fracture. Do you think that your fracture could do it?
I'm going to place my hand on the floor.
As Bropsy's tapping it, please come back.
And I'm going to think to myself, make a doorway. And see if anything happens.
Okay, what I'm going to need you to do is make me an Arcana check.
Ooh, boy. It's not my strong suit.
You can do this.
I'm going to say no guidance from Bropsy because she's tapping on the floor.
I did get a
Well,
23.
I would stop when I notice he's doing something.
You got what?
I got 23.
Got 23? You watch as it does, you see the plates, like your hand gets close and you begin door. And you see the plates start shifting and twisting at the top. And it begins opening up for a second, and then you see what looks to be a long creature, almost like a stick bug, but just made out of metal and arms, and like a face twists up and looks at you and goes, "You're not supposed to be here," as it begins opening up. And then he pops out and he like climbs out of the hole, and you see that he's like a full 10 feet long. This like skinny, like mini mechanical armed thing with like weird, like fleshed eyes, almost like a totem moving down its body. he goes, you're not supposed to be, as all the different faces start coming up. You're not supposed to be here.
I'm just going to reply, would Lord Primus have given me this ability if I was not allowed to enter?
Lord Primus. All the different voices. Make me a deception check.
What is my deception? +1.
Can I do guidance now?
Yes, because you're not tapping the floor anymore.
I stopped as soon as I saw him doing a thing.
Guidance don't matter. It's in that one.
No.
You guys suck.
Yeah,
Why
it's
don't,
fine.
why don't you have a bard with you?
Our bard got
Well, you see,
stuck in
our
a
bard
wall.
went off on her own
Okay,
without
so
telling anyone.
Your bard can get out, but I need to find a platform that is at least 10 feet wide.
As this saying says, you're opening doors, but you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be here. You need to leave.
And you see that they're sort of like all their arms are like twisting out and like folding out onto themselves, and you see little blades folding straight onto the arm as they menacingly start folding their arms out longer and longer.
This is probably stupid.
Hang on,
But
I know.
I'm gonna touch it and be like, go away.
Make an Arcana check.
God, I hope. Come on, good roll. Let's go. Give me a good roll. 17
17.
with guidance, I guess. I'll roll a guidance.
Mm-hmm.
That's a +3, so 20 total.
20.
Can I ask something really quick that might make all of this moot?
Sure.
Am I within 500 feet of that box?
Yes.
Seti closes her eyes, visualizes that room and the box as the last most familiar place she was, and casts Dimension Door.
Okay, so you're like and you touch it and you say, "Go away," and as you do it, like you think this in your mind, you see that he's like, and looks at you for a second, and it's like, "I won't go," and you watch as it begins to fall apart,
No!
and its pieces begin to unstack off itself, and goes and it falls into several pieces. All the hinges connecting it fall to pieces, and you see all these different faces begin splatting onto the ground. And then, what happened? What happened? Like, oh no! Well, you see a hand comes out of each one, and they begin dragging themselves back to the hole you made in the floor.
No.
Well, I didn't think that was gonna work. Interesting, though.
So
This
as
is,
you see as they all pull themselves onto the floor, they start. One of the hands comes out, grabs, and starts. As all four of these, like the screeching noises, all four of the different panels that started to fold out to create this door that you were clearly making in this tower, it just folds back into itself, and then as you guys are sitting there, you hear, and you see Seti is just standing in front of the box, and she goes, and the first thing you see, Seti, is that box is open.
And then I look
Percy
up
jumps,
and I
hugs her.
I like immediately draw my sword and like whirl around and then collapse into her as soon as I realize it's my friend.
Yeah, as the sword like whips around, you see like Cleary like literally like, kind of like puts a hand up, and he like the blade like claps like straight into his arm, and he's like,
I am
"You're fine. You're fine. You're
I
here."
am instituting mandatory checks in for everyone.
Yeah, I grab as many of them as I can into a big hug.
He says, "Well, let's get out of here." And he gestures around, and then you see Crumples moves under his hand, and then he just paints into the air for a second, and you guys notice like little tiny little cherub wings appear on your back, and you start lifting into the air. You don't feel anything lifting you, but you feel like you're levitating directly up. And he goes, so as you guys are like literally just levitating straight up into the tower, It's like the halls of Erudition, I believe, are about 1,000 feet total. So as you guys are just levitating up, this sort of like still sort of churning itself into like a full shutdown. He goes, "What happened?"
Followed a bad person, and I got stuck. And then I saw more bad people.
We need to find a place to meet immediately.
Yes,
That is quiet and reserved. Where would you all like to go?
anywhere safe.
We would need to pick up Grim and Mitnir. This is an important conversation.
Are your rooms warded?
Mine is.
Okay.
Okay. We'll meet in the University of Phoenix. Please send a message to your friends. I'll prepare the way there and make sure no one is following us.
Okay. I'll send a message. I have 2 left, so I can send one each to Mitnir and Graham. And just say, this is urgent. Please meet at Clary's rooms.
Here, Mitnir goes, "Huh? What
Mitnir,
time
wake
is it?"
up!
"Oh, yeah, I'll be there. Is there a password for that tower, or do I just walk in?
Like, what's the deal with that tower? It's the one with the flag.
University of Phoenix. Been there plenty of times.
Ah, no, I'm up." And then here he's like, it goes through. Graham, you receive a message.
Just had to say we had meat. He'd be there.
Oh shit.
Are
I
you
guess I
responding?
go.
Are you responding to them in any way? Or?
Like, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
Be
it
there.
takes the better part of 20 minutes before you've all arrived at the University of Phoenix and have entered into the same dorm room that you have been familiar with Cleary. It's very nice study. Has a great like window facing out into like what is not true scenery. And then there's like this nice claw-footed tub and great bedding, closet, everything's quite nice here. It's not exceptionally huge, but it's enough for you all to comfortably make your way in there. Either sit around a table or on the bed. There's a little tea table, so between those 2 sitting areas, everybody can sit comfortably. And as you all find a place to sit, you see Cleary is just sort of standing by the window, double checking his wards.
Yeah, Seti just kind of collapses. I think she's still in kind of a cold sweat, very clammy, damp.
Oren's just looking at his hands like, I'm a god.
What power have I wrought?
As he locks the door behind you guys, and you see like there's a sort of like pulse throughout the room.
The walls are sealed. What happened?
So, when I went to see the Broxbreaker practice, there was a mysterious figure in the corner that nobody else could see. I think it was shielded magically and averting my own eyes couldn't really look at it, but it's like and I describe what the guy looked like.
Yeah, you followed it. You don't leave anything out.
I don't leave anything out. The
Okay.
other one with the sunken eyes, the tentacle mist, with my broken glasses, everything, and how it made me feel. And what he said, like trying to lure me out of hiding, that they were looking for.
Cleary listens quietly as you tell this story, and I'm sure at some point getting impassioned by what you're saying, and just whether it's not like passionate about it, but just impassioned in the fact that you're almost feeling it again as you're saying the story.
Yeah.
That's the part where you turn into a gnat.
Yeah,
Then a bunch of time passed.
If anybody has any better suggestions,
And then you
for that,
woke
I
up in
don't
the
know.
wall.
Yeah. I mean, at least I got where I was going.
Well, whatever it is, I think that you had enough drive to follow it where you needed to go, one way or another, or maybe you just got lucky, but
Yeah.
that is a huge advancement knowing where Inveruna is.
I mean,
I have never seen their tower, and I did not know that there was a space large enough for them to find
well, it's
within.
deep under
Oh,
and
that
within
is
the
deep.
tower. I mean, yeah.
If I were to guess, I would say that the level that they are in is the same level as the Verboten Reliquary.
Oh, great. Great.
A room which has such potent poison within it that if you were to step into it, it would corrode your body to dust within a matter of minutes.
You think
Well,
that
you know-
thing that came out of the floor had anything to do with Enveruna, or was that just part of Selindor's defenses or something?
I believe that was one of the Modron, a more advanced version. Maybe a Tetran or whatever the hell they're called. I could bring up a list of Modron.
Well, looks like this fracture does let me have access to places most people can't.
That's important to know. Might be a huge key to being able to investigate them. You should practice as much as possible. I was actually quite surprised.
Yeah,
You
not
know-
bad for my first attempt, I guess.
What do we think should be our next move? I mean, those are
It was in fact a pentadrone.
First time we've seen one of those, I'm sure.
There are many different types of pentadrome, but that one had 5 heads on it. It's a pentadrome.
It was weird. I made it crumble just by touching and thinking it.
Interesting. My guess, based on what I witnessed, is that you downgraded it into Modron.
5 separate Modrons. One for each head.
Which is a strange thing that does not naturally happen, and is more disturbing than if you had actually just broken it apart. Modron are not supposed to reverse. There is a fixed number of them in existence at any one time. So in order for that to have happened, theoretically, 5 other Modron have ceased to exist. Or at the same time, 5 Modron somewhere else have just become a pentadrone.
Well, Primus can control these things, can he?
It's hard to say. There's a large number of Modron in existence. I don't remember the exact number.
I know he's
The
talked
Modron-
through some before.
The Modron themselves, the Monodron, the one that you see typically running around, there are a number close to 300 million. And for him to be able to keep track of any one of them at a given time is difficult, but there are no more than 500,000 pentadrones at any given time. So he might have noticed that.
Well, what can you do now?
It's hard to say.
Maybe he's proud of me. We'll see.
Hopefully he won't have noticed at all and we can just pretend nothing happened. But if so, yes, hopefully that's his reaction. Remember, he's not supposed to know we're investigating in Varuna.
Oh, well,
And there's only
I
a
was
number
just
of-
looking for my friend, so.
That's true.
And Verona had nothing to do with it.
Well, in the meantime, that's the most information we've ever found about Varuna.
What do we do about it? I mean, is this enough? My descriptions of what these people look like really are. Is that enough to make some kind of move? It's very, I mean, it reminds me so much of what we've already seen from Northot and the tentacle monster and in the far realm when I was talking to Greed. I mean, these are definitely what we think they are.
They are something for certain. I don't particularly recognize the descriptions that you gave me, but they are of the far realm or influenced by them in some way, or your glasses are pure shit. It's hard to say, but
I mean, a
based
little bit
on the
shit,
robe
but
color, the place they are, I would say that that is the stronghold of Inveruna.
it has to be.
And the fact that it's within the tower means that not only does Primus know about it, but he's allowing it. Which means Primus is aware that they are lurking in a place as low down as the Verboten Reliquary.
In awfully close proximity to where that key piece is being stored.
That is where every relic that is deemed unsafe within Selindor is kept by the council, with the exception of those that are kept directly in other planes.
That is a very bad place to have bad people.
Yes. I will make a report directly to your father and see what his reaction is, and there might be a meeting with the council. In the meantime, try not to be spotted by them. They'll let them know that you're onto them. If you see another person in a black robe,
Don't.
well, at least we know where they're going, but don't follow them now until we hear further news about what to do. The last thing I want is any one of you getting trapped behind those walls where I can't help you again.
Yeah, I should have. I'm sorry. I should have told you all where I was going. I just didn't want to lose the trail. I thought I'd be able to get back up again really quickly. Just take a peek. I was wrong.
Safety's more important.
At least
I
next
know.
time, take me with you, because I could probably get us out.
Yeah.
Or
Buddy
take me
system,
with you
something.
so that I can just kill whoever's there.
Right. They could have used a good headbutting.
I've yet to find somebody who I could not headbutt into submission.
Well, I don't fancy the idea of tangling with these people anytime soon. Not until we know what they are. And what
There's a fair
their
chance that the
reach
buddy
is.
system is a good choice. Actually,
Yes,
until we hear further.
I agree. In the meantime, I think I don't want anybody sticking their neck out. We had talked about using ourselves as bait by flaunting our potential connections, but I think we need to lay low.
For now, yes. Wait till we hear from the council. In the meantime, sign up for your competitions. Tomorrow is the day of testing. Do what you can. You can make an impression within your school. Just don't flaunt yourself too much. Well, on that note, I suggest everyone sleeps here tonight.
Thank you. Yes, I don't want to go back to.
And it's a bit of work, but he opens the door, and as it does, you see that the room on the other side, which you're used to remembering being just a closet, the last time you were in here, opens up into an entire wing of house.
Oh. Well, that's a neat trick.
Yes.
Like,
it takes a bit
it
of
just kind of
focus.
expands and stuff.
Yep. And there's like beds laid out, and he's like, "You can stay here for tonight."
Thank you.
You know, we're gonna have to talk about what you just did there. That might come in handy with my.
It takes quite a bit out of me. Technically, I'm not supposed to have that level of power anymore. But
That would be very
shaping
cool
things is my expertise.
if I could, shrink the board down so you could put it in a pack or something, and then expand it when you take it out.
I might be a bit busy at the moment and not able to help with that. Not to mention, technically, you're my competitor. But
Sure.
I'm sure SETI has been studying quite a bit about dimensional shifts.
My planar studies course is giving me lots of ideas, and we can certainly think on that one, but it is kind of a low priority for my frazzled brain right now.
Well, stay in here. No one will see you. I'm sorry to keep you from your work, Grim. I know what you're doing is important. I've had reports.
I mean, they need time to grow. It's fine.
Yes, I will send a message to your boggle friend that you'll not be returning tonight, and to keep your experiments well kept. I'm sure he'll be
Yes.
overjoyed.
Yeah, Brogy likes to play with the things.
Well, in the meantime, good night, everyone. He kind of like ushers you in and then closes the door.
Did SETI tell us about You told us about your brother, right?
No, I didn't.
I
Because
thought you did at
it
one of the
got-
dinners.
I was
Yes.
going to, but then other stuff got talked about instead. So
So the door locks behind you, and you guys are in there, and there's like no windows. It's almost claustrophobic.
Oh.
It's like just this long room that's got beds and nightstands. Simple wood, same features as the room in which
he's
you
got
staying.
like a panic room, basically. What this
Hard
feels
to say.
like. A little bit of a bunker.
We're in Cleary's dungeon.
Yeah, you just see St. Andrew's cross on the wall. I'm just kidding.
Hey, there's a swing in here.
I'll be prestidigitating these sheets.
With that, I will leave it to you guys to discuss for a moment because I have to pee.
Yeah, somebody didn't take their break when we took a break.
Yeah, he did.
And we're almost at time too,
Yeah.
which is weird to say at 6:47.
I know. So early.
I mean, we did start a little late.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm thoroughly terrified, and I don't know if I'm going to be sleeping tonight.
I mean, I'm good. I just figured out I could do something really cool.
Grim's already asleep.
I can manipulate the very fabric of Selindor.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but it sounds like a neat trick.
I mean, I made a door where there was a floor.
Yeah.
And then I told one of the Modron to go away, and he broke into 5 little pieces.
I imagine Mittner saying, I could break a Modron into 5 pieces. Gagnor
Just
from the
by
bathroom
touching
says
it
that's exactly
once?
what he says. Well, how about the rest of you? Did you have a good day?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I made good amount of progress on my project. It's almost done.
Oh, Mittner,
Maybe
do
one
you
more
have
day.
I forgot to ask clear. Do you have my money? Was there any leftover money from the shopping trip? You're muted.
So, oh yeah, he said I could give this to you. There's 1,000 gold left over.
And
I'll
there's
take
a ring.
1,500.
And here's your ring. Yep. And he says it was a nice ring too. It was a dual feature.
Yeah, my ass, he only spent 500 on that. It's pretty. I put it on.
Yep, you know what it does.
I didn't
You have to make yourself an item, but
Yeah. I'll just add it to my
I told you what it does.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna go back to sleep because I've got to break a box real hard tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I'll probably do some of that wisp wallop thing to see how that goes.
I think the Monday tryouts are just box breaker, right?
You know that box breaker is happening on Monday,
Okay.
and that you have signed up to show your skills as a group of 2, I believe it was.
For box
Who-
breaker?
For the other one.
Wisp Wallop. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a group of 2, yes.
Yeah.
But I
So-
think we decided all 3 of us would go for both of them.
I can't do both.
Well,
Well, I guess I could try out for both.
Yeah,
right.
you can try
I
out for both.
Yeah.
I can only compete in one of them, though.
Right.
Yeah.
But then the idea was that, like, if Mitnir...
That's assuming that Mitnir doesn't beat you out.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He's
whoever's
doing his invention with somebody else.
whoever's invention
Your
doesn't get
invention
accepted.
is the one for your school. That's what's going to happen. There's no competition there. So, as you all get rest for the night, is there anything else you would like to do before you rest? Seti, are you dream spelling anyone tonight?
I think I would love to hang out with my mom, because that's what Seti does when she's stressed out. But maybe she might be too... I don't know.
Might not be able to get the dream out of this room tonight. We don't know how this room works.
Yeah, I think she might. I think she might not be able to sleep very well, and so that if and when she does, she doesn't have the energy to really go see anybody.
Okay. So you're just gonna go to sleep as normal?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
As much as I would
Anybody
like to troll
else?
you again.
Anybody else have anything they would like to do before sleep?
Rip's already asleep.
Snuggle.
Sure, we can snuggle up. Anybody who
Okay.
wants to.
So as you fall
Grabs the
asleep
mother hens and sits on
and
our
gain
babies.
rest for the night, Seti,
Oh boy.
in the darkness of your dream,
Uh-oh.
nothing appears. Nothing forms. No natural dreams occur. But your consciousness is there in the black void. Almost too alert. You see something forming in the darkness after some time. Little specks of starlight. And then, as if they were always there, you see two sullen eyes open and look at you in the void. It was you. Head tilts, a head that was always there and yet never was. See a sunken face, black hair, nappy, unkept. A young face. Why are you watching me?
Why are you watching me?
The eyes narrow slightly, and then you see, like, falling into them, whereas you couldn't really describe them before, you see irises flash at you. And you see this burning silver line surround these sort of deep, deep black irises. And then you see the little bits of starlight and galaxies swimming in the eyes. And it looks deep into you. As, what are you?
I'm trying not to give it anything. I'm just trying to be blank and avoid myself.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Just think of dancing skeletons.
Bones? That's a 7.
7. So as it stares into you, it goes, ah. And you see a smile appear for just a moment. And you see that it's too wide.
I think of Grim. Or not Grim, Greed. The other one.
And he smiles even wider. It says, you're with the rogue. Interesting.
Where is he?
No one knows. But you should know not to interfere with gods. And then the eyes flash for a moment. And you find yourself falling through everything. There's a flashes of light and dimensions that you're pouring through. You feel yourself screaming inside and out. And then as you wake up, you find yourself being held tightly by Bropsy as your body flails. And you realize that your body was having a seizure.
Well,
And that's where we end our session for the night.
cool beans. That's what they say, right?
That's what the kids say.
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our session. I hope it wasn't too dark for anybody.
Just me.
Remember that we love you, and we did it for the rules.
We did it for the roll.
We did it for the rules.